Right, hello everybody, welcome back to Natural Red YouTube channel. This conversation, this topic has been talked about for a while now, for the past half a year or so. Chelsea, Man United, how close are they to challenging or winning the Premier League? If you haven't already, like, subscribe, comment as we go along. Let's talk about this. So obviously for the past 2 to 3 years, it's been Liverpool and Man City challenging at the top, and it'll be other clubs getting into the top 4, falling out, in and out for a couple of years' time, and no one has been able to be that third one or get over Liverpool or Man City. Let's talk about Man United first to get the viewers in, just to get the viewers in. I'm going to try and be unbiased as hard as it is, because I fucking hate you lots, and realistic is the word I'm trying to say. Right, you say best midfield in the world, best front three in the league, and so on. Let's take a deep breath with me. 1, 2. And let's start with the defense, alright? Okay, let's start with the defense. Goalkeeper, David De Gea. At this rate, you tell me, at this rate, the past 2 years since he signed that new contract, is he good enough at that rate? I'm not talking about 3 or 4 years ago. I'm talking about the last year or two, this current rate. Is he good enough to be a Premier League winning goalkeeper? No. His last game was probably that Arsenal game 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? Just before he signed the contract, wasn't it? Where he was like unstoppable that game. He was just saving. He was saving like a cat. It was just magnificent that. So when you got to say, all right, David De Gea, at this rate, he's making mistakes far too often. Goalkeepers make mistakes. Fine. Yeah, it's obvious that one position on the pitch where if you make a mistake, it usually leads to a goal. It's a really tough position to play, and you've got to be mentally switched up and to be like you've got to be a psycho. You've got to be a psycho to play goalkeeper, in terms of you've got to be blocking out all distraction, focus on the shot, and focus on the play and so on. So don't worry about anything else. You've got to be mentally up there, like for any keeper in the world. You've got to be up to play that position in the first place. So David De Gea. Is he good enough at this rate to win the league? No, he's got to improve. So can he improve? It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. Goalkeepers peak late. We all know that. He's 29, 30 is at that peak of a goalkeeper. They can go up to 35. We've seen with Buffon, Casillas, you can go up to 35. And that's about it, right? You pick later. So David De Gea, you got Dean Henderson behind him and Sergio Romero. I'll be pretty pissed off if I was Romero to say, okay, Gaffer, why didn't you give me a chance? Give me a run of 2 or 3 games, and if I do well, we stick with this. Because David De Gea hasn't got competition. If Romero came in for a league game or two, for example, against Norwich, I'm just using for example. I don't know when they versed Norwich. For Norwich, just for example, came in for Norwich and he did well. He was, just sound. Or for a goalkeeper, if you make just basic good things right, you have a good game. You don't have to make a great save, because if you have to make a great save, it's usually bad position. That's what we see the best keepers in the world. They don't make great saves because in the right position, they know what to do. They make things easy. We know that. Remember, I would have thought, remember, okay, I'm not going to play when David De Gea is making mistakes. I want out. Even though I play the cups, I want out, because he's a good enough Premier League goalkeeper. He's a mid-table, good Premier League goalkeeper. Say, all right, I want to play for this team. Right, Dean Henderson coming in. I don't know about Hendel. Once he's into the Premier League, is that enough? Yes, it gets talked about this mistake against Liverpool. If it was against any other team, I think it would have been shoved to the side a bit more. But because it was against the Premier League champions, it's a bit like, okay, that's the focus on. And is that the only mistake he's done? If that's the only mistake, that's pretty good. So goalkeeper, you either give Henderson to really tell David De Gea, like, oh mate, I'm right behind you. If you make a mistake, I'm in the side, so you've got to be careful. Competition is what goalkeepers need to be at the top. Right, let's have a look at the defense. We talked about that for 4 minutes. Jeepers, that's how good I am at talking. All right, let's go to the back four. Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Bailly for 3 centre backs, and Luke Shaw. The only one at this rate that I think, only one player out of this defense that can say, okay, if you don't improve, you're good enough to win the Premier League. If you don't improve, and that's Luke Shaw. I like him. I think he's pretty good. And at this rate, he looks like a good left back. And if he doesn't improve, you can still win a Premier League with him. He's a pretty good left back. He's sound. Defensively he's pretty good. Attacking, he's got something in his locker. Centre backs. I've been fairly critical of three of them. Um, Maguire, Lindelof, and Bailly. Those three on their own cannot win the league if they don't improve. Maguire, Lindelof, and Bale. Whoever you choose, whoever plays, they've got to raise the levels, right? At this rate, they will not win the league as the centre back partnership. Centre back partnership is all about it's a bit weird because Gomez and Van Dijk, I'm trying to compare them to the top because that's where Manuel want to be. Gomez and Van Dijk. Gomez is very, very quick, but then Van Dijk's very, very quick. I'm trying to think of, one's going to be a destroyer, one's going to be a bit sitting back, good on the ball. So Maguire, is he a ball playing or is he a destroyer? I don't know what he is. He likes the ball at his feet, but he makes stupid mistakes on the ball as well. So you got to say, okay, what type of centre back? If you're going to get someone as good, well, hopefully better for Man United fans, better. I don't know, like centre backs, Bailly, he's got the ability to be better. Lindelof has got the ability to be better. Maguire has got the ability to be better. But what we've seen the last 2 years, or Maguire for a year, is they're not good enough. You got to see 3 or 4 at least months of consistency. You can say yes, you can put your hat on that. Yes, you're the one. Right back, Wan-Bissaka. I'll be honest. I'll be worried for Man United fans when he's diving in like that. And I'm not being funny. I'm banterous. I'm not being funny. Yes, tackling is good, but when he's constantly diving into tackles, I'll be shitting myself if he's in the box or edge of the box giving away free kicks. And look, most of the time it comes off, fair play, but I'd be worried. I've heard some things in small sources here and there that Man United's training, and the training Man United do, that they say they're a bit worried of Wan-Bissaka, diving to ground too early. He's not sitting back and waiting for the attacker to say, okay, you come at me and then I'll destroy you. It's a bit like that. So I think he needs to improve. Obviously on the ball, he's absolute garbage, but if he improves, he could be a fine right back. Let's go to the midfield, the best midfield in the league, as we've been told. Matic, good ball retention. Is he old enough? Is he older? Is he too old enough to move around? As a number 6, when you've got Fernandes and Pogba bombing on, this is what City are doing really, really well. They've got Fernandinho at the base of the midfield, deeper. So when you've got the 2 attacking midfielders going higher, bombing on, edge of the box, you need someone who can run. And that's why I think McTominay or even Fred are a bit better at the 6 than Matic. Even though Matic is pretty good sitting at the back, he cannot run. And don't say this. Don't take this disrespectful, but as a crab, you got to be like this. You got to be like this, shading the back 4, moving the ball, quick. Keep it moving. Is Matic good enough? I don't think he's good enough. Fernandes, he needs to be more than taking a long shot. He needs to be moving more around the ground. Pogba, I think he's fun. He consistently will get him through. Front 3, Martial. Who else is it? Martial, Rashford, Greenwood. Fine. I mean, Rashford needs to improve, even though he had a bad injury. He needs to improve consistency. Martial, for the first time in 6 years, has started playing well. Consistency is needed. Greenwood, are you going to be relying on this young promising talent to challenge for the league? He's very good, but you can't put your hopes on it. And the Sancho deal is probably... oh. Sorry, I'm just going to smile. I'm not going to be an absolute prick about it. I'm just like Markovic. He's very confident. Sancho's going to stay up. Dortmund is going to move to somewhere else. So that's the front 3. They need to improve in defense. Maybe get a number 6. McTominay, maybe if he improves. Fred, I think he's a good player, and another one for the front 3. Another 2 players in the front 3, and possibly a new manager, if I'm being honest, because he doesn't fulfill me with confidence, if I should say. Let's go to Chelsea. Okay, we've spent 10 minutes on Man United. Let's go to Super Frankie Lampard, Chelsea's. Start with the goalkeeper, Kepa. Out, like that. Out, off to Spain, probably off to Italy, off to Spain. Garbage. Nothing else to say. Off you go. Caballero started the last 3 games. Started in the cup final. It all says that in there. He starts in the cup final, so he's Kepa, a new goalkeeper. Back 4 is a bit of a worry, same as Man United. Azpilicueta at right back, or Reece James, and Christensen, Rudiger, Tomori, And then you got Emerson and Marcus Alonso at left back. You probably need 3 new players in that back four to win the league. Azpilicueta, good servant, but you need to have Azpilicueta in the side for just leadership purposes. It's critical. Every Premier League winning team has got leadership around the ground. Azpilicueta's got that. But do you play him at right back, or do you play him as a centre back cover, or do you play him as a second back and then you buy someone? Or do you play someone like Rudiger, or do you give Reece James a go? Reece James, talented little fucker. But is he good enough to step onto the streets and play 38 games in the Premier League season? I don't know. He's a risk to take. Centre back Rudiger, I think he hasn't had a good season. But last year he was pretty good against Sarri, and I feel like Maurizio Sarri, Italian manager, knew how to get the best out of defenders. And even it's stupid to say because they got smashed against City. I thought they were a bit better defensively last season than they were this year. So they probably need a new left back, a centre back, and a right back, probably. Left back Chilwell, I don't know if he's good enough. He had a poor season. Since we absolutely tonked them on Boxing Day, and since then he was garbage in that game, and since then he has been great. He'd be better than what they have, but is better than what you have, good enough to buy him. A new centre back that we talk about, Koulibaly. Koulibaly wanting to go away from Napoli. Napoli had a terrible season, but it looks like he wants to stay there for the rest of his career, and fair play. When the clubs and fans say, "Oh, we need to do what Liverpool did, get an Alisson, get a Van Dijk," it's not that easy. You paid more than Alisson's fee, and you didn't get what Alisson is. It's much harder. You got to do the right scouting. You got to get the right personality as a goalkeeper, because it just looks like he thinks he's good enough, and he's not. And we saw with Pickford, he's not just good enough. I have to say it. Okay, so back four, they need a few signings there. Chilwell, I don't know if he's good enough. Just do a bit of scouting. You can get a much cheaper left back and probably as good as Chilwell in other countries. Centre back, Koulibaly is the one. He's the name that people bring up when you say, okay, we need a Van Dijk, whatever that means. Van Dijk is superhuman. Do not compare Van Dijk to anyone else. So you got to say, okay, we need a dominant centre back, confident on the ball, leadership, shouts at players when they make mistakes, expects, demands perfection. That's what Chelsea need, right? And the money on that as well. And a right back as well. So I don't know if Reece James is good enough, or do they want to play Azpilicueta right back and usually shift to a back three and then Alonso bombing forward. It's usually what you can do. Midfield is usually Chelsea's strong point. You've got Kante, who didn't play. I think he's injured, is he? Kovacic and Kante are the two players that they need to keep. Jorginho might move. Barkley they need to sell. He is not good enough. Mount is good enough, but I don't think he's good enough to start in a Premier League team. But he's got potential, that kid. And Loftus-Cheek is the same as Mount. Obviously a bit older than Mason Mount, but he's got some potential in him. Mount should be that backup centre mid. So they obviously need one centre mid. You could drive with the mid for forward. And I'm not gonna say Chamberlain type of player or Naby Keita. Really, I'm trying to compare it to Liverpool players because I know more. I know what Liverpool players can do on the ball. So that's why I'm comparing, if that makes sense. So you need someone in the midfield driving forward, Kovacic to want to ball retention, Kante to be that destroying midfield, and some to go forward. If your wing backs going bombing, you need a runner in midfield with Kante, with Kovacic. Front three is Werner, Ziyech, Abraham, Pulisic, Giroud, and Pedro Willian are gone. So this on paper sounds fantastic. Doesn't it? But obviously, it takes a while. People forget it takes a while to gel together, especially like 2-3 players new together for a system. Werner, obviously, individual, Ziyech, unbelievable, great talent, know how to put the ball in the back of the net, know how to create chances, create space. They're obviously fantastic. But going to a new country, learning the language most likely, it's going to be hard. And people say, oh yeah, Werner, Ziyech and Pulisic sounds amazing. Abraham sounds great, but it's going to take time. People forget that. There's a reason why Klopp did not play Fabinho for 5 months. There's a reason he didn't play Ox for 5 months. There's a reason Robertson, and the list goes on. You got to say, okay, you can be good in the future, but I'm going to make you train for 4 months, know the team, know the style, and then you put in because of risk of position deficiency. So then you go, okay, now he's ready, now he's world class, now he knows what to do. So it's going to take a while for both of these teams, Monday Night Chelsea, to gel together. Frankie Lampard, I don't think he's good enough. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Lampard probably one of the bottom half managers in the league, in my opinion. Let me know your thoughts, comments, discussion. I will be down there. I'll respond to you fucking idiot, you fucking yeah. So, boys and girls, if yes, exactly. Let me know your thoughts. Chelsea and Man United, I think they need maybe a couple more years until they can challenge. I mean, Liverpool absolutely pissed this league. How good is that to say? And Man City are going to be right up there. So I think Liverpool and Man City will be for another a year at least at the top, challenging, absolutely being league robbed. Boys and girls, if you have any, like, subscribe, comment what you think. Follow me on social media platforms. Subscribe to my second channel. Link in the description down below. Follow me on Twitch as well. I'm doing Football Manager there, and it's quite a lot of fun. Subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I'll see you guys later.